Hello everyone and welcome to Knife Skills. We are going to I'm going to demonstrate a couple of different knife styles for you in this video. There are others, please Google them. There are others in the assignment actually as well, but I'm not going to do all of them for you. But I am going to show you how to dice bâtonnet, which is just making French fries basically, julienne, and also I'm going to show you how to dice an onion and also how to cut a cucumber properly. And so that's what I thought would be kind of good techniques to learn on this video. So I think the first thing we're going to do is we're going to dice, and I'm going to dice a carrot. Even though, you obviously sometimes you can dice potatoes to make hash browns and such, but I'm going to use the potato for the bâtonnet so you can see how to make French fry cut. You can do a French fry cut with a carrot also, obviously. Sweet potato, those are the bâtonnet cuts. So with a carrot, what I always do is I always take off both ends. If you're cooking a carrot in a stew, you don't have to peel it. If you're going to cook it in a salad and you're cooking it cold, then you would, or you're serving it cold, then you would want to peel it just because sometimes the peel is kind of rough. But obviously you want to make sure that you've washed all of your vegetables before you want to wash them before you cut them. And yeah, so we're going to dice a carrot, and dicing a carrot, carrots are thin, so they're kind of sometimes difficult to dice. But we're going to do it. So I'm going to show you from the thick part of the carrot how to dice it. And basically there's a couple of different techniques to doing this with a carrot because it's not going to be a complete cube. I mean, it could be, but we don't need to go that far. So I'm just going to take the carrot and cut it in half, fully in half. Always make sure you know where your knife is on the table and where your fingers are. Try as much as you can to keep all of that separated from the sharp part. And then I'm going to place the carrot straight down, and I'm going to cut them in half again. And this will give you a good sized dice. Now, they're not going to be exact cubes, but it's still a good dice for maybe soups, maybe a carrot hash, something of that nature. So one thing I want to show you as I begin to cut, you're going to see my fingers behind the knife are going to be sort of at this angle. And you want it so that your knuckles are really the only thing that touches that knife, not your fingers, right? You don't want to hold it. You don't want to hold it like this, where you take your fingers off. You want to hold it so that you're like this. My fingers are kind of putting pressure on the back side of the carrot, and then my knife, only the top part of my knuckles are cutting the carrot, like so. And then there's a little cube. It's a carrot cube. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I will put the carrots all together like this and then just cut them all at once to make all of my cubes. And I'm going maybe a little bit bigger than 1/4 inch. You can do full inch cubes. This is a good size for soup, right? They're bite-sized cubes. You do even tinier cubes if you're making like a tomato pasta sauce or anything that needs very finely diced carrots. And so we begin. So as I cut, you're gonna see I'm never going to lift my knife completely off of the cutting board. I'm gonna use my hand to move the carrot. And then I'm gonna slice, and I'm not gonna move the knife as I cut. I'm just gonna push the knife down. I'm not gonna pick it up. I'm just pushing it down. And then I move my carrot. And then I can always push this to the side, come back over here and make sure that they're all the same length, and cut. These are getting too small, so I'm just gonna cut them from here. Okay, and then make sure that your knuckles are still, like your nails, if you have them, are digging down into the carrot. So then you know that you're not going to take your fingers off. And there you have cubed carrots, diced carrots. And that's a dice, and that can go in a nice soup. Not necessarily a stew. Stew, you actually probably want to do something like this. I did some slices earlier as I was testing my camera. But slices are, I'll show you some slices really quickly too, because I have this other half of this carrot. And a slice is just, you don't cut the carrot in half and you're just going to slice. Same thing with the knuckles. I'm moving the carrot. I never move the knife. The only knife action is going up and down. It's staying on my cutting board. You always want to keep the knife on the cutting board as much as possible. And then there's a dice. Or I'm sorry, there's a slice. Sorry about that. All right, lots of sliced carrots. My dog is going to be very happy because she'll eat those. Next, I want to do the cucumber. I'm going to show you how to slice the cucumber. You can dice the cucumber the exact same way. But the best way to serve a cucumber, honestly, is actually to peel it because the skin is pretty tough. But I want to leave the peel on because it's easier to see on the camera what I'm doing. So you want to find the straightest possible way to cut the cucumber. So, you know, cucumbers are obviously curved. So you don't want to cut it along the curve. You want to actually cut it perpendicular to the curve. Look at that mathematic word coming up. So we're going to do the same thing as I did with the carrot. We're going to take the cucumber and cut her in half. And then let her fall out. And then I have this spoon here. You're like, it's knife. What are we doing with spoons? So I always, and you should do this too for your guests, because the spoons actually can, the seeds can actually cause really bad heartburn and indigestion. So remove the seeds. Cucumbers are very rarely cooked. You can pickle them, obviously. And some people leave the seeds with a pickle because then that takes away that. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a spoon and literally scoop out the seeds. Make a big mess over here. and that's what you want to do. You want to scoop out those seeds. So I'm gonna do that really, finish it off camera since this is knife skills. So give me just 1 second while I do that. All right, I'm gonna grab a paper towel because this was a very juicy cucumber. And now we have a cucumber that is seeded and much more comfortable for your guests to eat. Put that over there. And then you can dice a cucumber just like we diced the carrots to put in like a cold salad, or you can just slice the cucumber, also put it in a cold salad. So same thing. And honestly, with a cucumber, it's so big, I'm not really actually using the knife up against my knuckles, but I'm always keeping my fingers in that shape. I'm actually have it, I'm gonna switch my angle here really quick and see if you can see what I'm doing. So that's what I'm doing. I'm leaving my fingers kind of far back. And then I make nice slices. And then of course I can make some dices. And like I said, you do want to take the peel off of a cucumber. It's just really tough to chew on, but it's better for the camera since the cucumber is so light. And then so you can also dice a cucumber. And I want to, you want to dice it so that it's the same size as whatever else you're dicing. You're making like a cold cucumber salad. Once again, my knife is only coming up, but not coming completely off. I hope you can see that. Not completely coming off of the cutting board. Okay, so there's some sliced cucumbers and diced cucumbers for a nice cold cucumber salad. I'm saving the onion for last, by the way. All right, so now let's do a baton or French fry. So how we do the French fry cut is, you don't have to peel your potato if you like skins on your potatoes, right? You do want to make sure that they're clean. What I do is I'm going to say, okay, I want my French fry to be, you know, 1/4 of an inch. So I'm going to square off my potato to get me to a 1/4 of an inch, kind of a square, because, or rectangle, I guess it'll be a rectangle, because a potato is, you know, round. So as good as I can get, I'm gonna square off my potato without wasting too much of the potato, as good as possible. And it's not like you can't turn these into French fries. You can turn these into potato skins, which is actually where potato skins come from. Or you can use that in a soup stock or in a soup itself. So now I have a somewhat rectangular potato, and now it's just dicing basically, but big. So with this, because the potato is pretty thick, I actually will put my the heel of my palm on the back of the knife, and I'll cut through it, and I'm going to cut it in half, because, you know, potatoes are pretty tough when they're raw. So cut it in half, and then I now have two little, not quite half, I didn't do that good of a job. And then I'm going to make my French fry cut. So I'm going to go, I don't know, maybe 1/4 of an inch, between 1/4 of an inch and 1/2 an inch, good size fries. And then I'm just going to do that. I'm going to, so they're as even as they possibly can be, obviously, right? I'm gonna keep going over here to this one. I'm just gonna cut that like that. All right, so then I flip it this way and do the same thing. I'm just gonna do it this way just so you can, to show you. You want to be careful with potatoes because once you cut through them, they're really slippery. So yes, you can stack them and cut them straight down if you want to, but you really want to be careful with that. And so as I'm going to teach kitchen safety, we're not going to do that. We're just going to go ahead and cut them again to give me a nice big French fry. Okay, nice big French fry. So there you have a bâtonnet French fry. Nice good size French fry. And then you can, you know, make them whatever size you want. Obviously, we can go one more step, and then we now have a perfectly diced potato for breakfast potatoes. I did lift my knife off on those because they're a little higher up. But now I have a perfectly cubed diced potato for hash browns, or no, I guess potato hash, not really hash brown. I'll cut these up to make French fries. You just always want to be aware of where your knife is and where your hands are at all times. And then some nice French fries for the oven. All right, so now we have slices and dices and bâtonnet French fries. And for our final cut, and that is the onion. I'm going to show you how to dice an onion. And I'm going to put gloves on because I don't want my hands smelling like onions for the rest of the day. And I normally actually always cook with gloves on. Excuse me. Alrighty, because less hand washing, quite honestly. And all right, so for an onion has a root. That's the root of the onion. So the onion is a root, but this is the rest of the root that actually turns up into the stalk of an onion. So when you want to make onion rings, you find the root and you cut up, once again, perpendicular to the root, right? And then if I open that up, there'll be onion rings. And then I can batter them and make lovely fried onion rings. But I'm gonna dice an onion, and I'm gonna show you a really cool trick on how to dice an onion without making too much of a mess. So that's the nice thing. So then you find your root ball, and you're going to give it a nice cut in half. And you notice I didn't peel it. There's no need to peel it because it'll start to peel on its own. They didn't give me a very pretty onion when I went to the store or when I picked up my groceries. Okay, so now we want to give it one more slice. Keep the root to the back. Okay, you want to keep the root to the back because this keeps the whole onion actually still together and intact. So I'm going to give this a nice slice to get the skin off. You know, put it in a compost pile or in a bag or what have you. So to take the skin off, you can just peel the skin. You find it there and peel it. I'm going to do it by hand. I usually do it with my knife, but I'm going to do it by hand so you can see. So you just peel that skin right off. So you can do it after you make the cuts. It's a little less messy. I don't pull the skin completely off because I use it as an anchor. And I'm going to use it as an anchor. Eee, that little bugger skin stuck. Okay, I'm going to use it as an anchor so to show you what we're doing here. So here is the rainbow of the onion. You've all seen Shrek. Onions have layers. So if I didn't cut it in half that way and I just cut it straight down, I would have made onion rings. And if I keep slicing this way, I would just make onion slices. This would be to saute, to put in a burger after you'd like sauteed onions. But I'm gonna show you a really cool trick on how to dice an onion without having to make too many cuts. So you find the rainbow of the onion, okay? And then be very careful here because I'm going to bring the knife towards my thumbs. So I wanna kind of keep my fingers up top, and I'm going to bring the knife across and not too much. Don't go all the way through, okay? It's a little slippery today. Okay, so you see that I made 2 cuts, that's it. I just made 2 cuts. And then I'm gonna make several cuts this way, straight down into the onion, straight down into the onion. Watch those fingers, see what I mean about an anchor? It's kind of a cool anchor back here. Watch your fingers. It's already dicing, you can see it's already dicing. And now that I've made 2 cuts going this way, 6 cuts going this way, that's it. And now I'm going to just slice straight down and out come the onion dices. Oh, I made that noise to just get the onion off of there. So there you go. Diced onions. And there you have it. Diced onions. And that was it. Quick as quick can be. And now I have diced onions, and it took no time at all. And then, of course, if I kept going, I'd probably end up with sliced onions because I didn't cut all the way through. But, you know, that's good for a cold onion salad, or if you need diced onions that match this size and this size to make some sort of soup or anything like that. Alrighty, so there you have it, my very brief cutting lesson. And I can't wait to see yours. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.